Before we get into the video, I just want to say real quickly, just a quick little announcement. My channel just hit 100 subscribers a couple days ago, and I wanted to thank you guys so much for all your support. It's a huge milestone for me, and I'm really excited that we were able to hit it by the end of the year, which was my goal. So that's awesome. I've got something to show you now that that thing's off the wall, and I don't think 100 likes on a video is ever going to happen, at least not now. It's finally time. I showed you this. Haha. Well, bam. Yeah, it's a Stinger Raven. Probably not all that I hyped it up to be, but you know, I still love it. Still one of the pride and joys of my collection. There we go. Little B-boy. Perfect. Sweet. Yeah. Quick update. It's kind of a mess right now. It's been one heck of a week. I'm just got more and more blasters piling up everywhere. It's kind of a problem. But storage solutions should be arriving rather quickly. Also, this is new over here. This is my patch wall. So I got a few patches, not a ton, just a few. This is my Nerf section over here. Oh yeah, those were kind of hard to get a hold of, considering I haven't been to End War yet, but soon, next year. Anyway, thank you guys so much again for 100 subscribers. Here's to the next 100, and hopefully 900, and then 1,000. That would be awesome, but one step at a time. All right, let's get into the video. So let me start with a little backstory. Now, I wanted to do a mod with me for the Nerf Elite Strife, because it's a classic. It's a magazine-fed, flywheel-powered, semi-automatic Nerf blaster, and it stood the test of time as one of the best sidearms / primaries in our hobby ever since it came out in 2012. But, the problem is, I couldn't find one. See, this was the Walmart Battle Camo Strife, and it came with a stock and a magazine, forward grip, and a barrel attachment, and it retailed for like $45, which was insane considering the original Strife was around 20. Heck, you could even find them for $10 if you had the right coupons or offers. And now you can't find them anywhere for less than $50. That was the cheapest listing I could find on Amazon, which is insane. And it's really sad because with just a little effort, this is one that I've slightly modified. There's not a whole lot done to it, but it's a fairly it's a competent little package, and they can really pack a punch if you know what you're doing. So what was I to do? Well, I could go Elite 2.0, or I could, you know, mod this trash can. Yeah. And I'm not going anywhere near the Alpha Strike flight, so that left me with few options without being able to find a Strife. And I could still do the mod with me, but what's the point if you can't find a Strife these days? But I was walking through my local Target, and I noticed a blaster that was on the shelf for $30, and I had picked up before and I had really liked. So, in this video, I will be showing you how to do a mod to the Nerf Doomlands Impact Zone Desolator. Now, this one's really a Strife on the inside, hopefully. I haven't technically opened one up yet. But, same setup, 4 AA's, semi-automatic, flywheel, magazine-fed blaster. It's just got a stock. And it's a really comfortable little package. I think it's worth taking a look at. Before we get started, here are a few things you're going to need. Obviously, to start out with, any good mod is going to require about a size 0 screwdriver. A pair of needle nose pliers will always make the job easier. Guarantee it. You're going to need some electrical tape, just standard width should do. And you're also going to need scissors to cut that. Probably. That's the cleanest way. And then this is optional, but you'll see how I use it later. It's a Super Lube multi-purpose synthetic grease. I got paid money to come up with that. I don't really know much about it. I got this from outofdarts.com, and any of the supplies that I mention outside of the tools, you can find at outofdarts.com. super simple and super great shop. You should check it out. But yeah, so that's completely optional. Find it at outofdarts.com. He's great. Luke's amazing. Yeah. You'll also need a clean workspace. I like to lay a towel down on a counter so I keep it clean. I think that's it. Let's go crack it open. All right, so we'll flip around. First thing you're going to want to do is take out this screw, open the battery compartment, take the batteries out. I like to have 2 different size, roughly 0 size screwdrivers. This one's nice and aggressive, and this one's good for putting them back in. You don't want to over tighten the screws, and this is a really good screwdriver for that. Other things you're going to need a pair of needle nose pliers. That would help. Some of this, I got this on outofdarts.com. It's just something called Super Lube, but you can find it on Amazon. And that little container, that's optional. You don't need that. And some electrical tape. That will help. Okay. So it takes 4 AA's, and we'll get to how you can work with the batteries and increase the voltage later. But for right now, we'll just pull those out. Good old copper tops. You can use whatever you've got around. Okay. Make sure you keep a hold of that battery tray, or the battery door. That's going to be important later. Alrighty. Next, you want to take out all the exterior screws and set those aside. So as soon as you have all the screws out, you want to gently ease the 2 pieces of the shell apart, or do that. That works too. Apparently it comes out in sections, which is fine. We can work with that. I like to start using the tactical rails to gently pry it apart, and then just slowly go down farther. Just like that. Just a few things to note. These are multiple pieces of molded plastic. Like this black part is all one piece, and this orange part, and this little black part right here, and this white part up here. Those are all separate pieces, so they all have to be popped apart individually. It's not just one big shell like a strife would be. And this part especially, this black part, was fighting me a lot trying to get off, and this sling point down here was also really hard to separate. But once you get past that, it should all just come off, and hopefully, yep, hold on. There we go. Snap back into place as one big piece. I'm actually super stoked about this because this is my first time inside one of these. And since it's multiple different parts, that's going to make painting it really easy. And I'm definitely going to be painting this one at some point after I modify it. Set that shell aside. What we're looking at now is the guts of the Desolator, and thank goodness, like I said, it's my first time in here, and this is a strife through and through. This is standard strife internals, which means we should be able to modify it in the same way as I did my strife builds. Might as well take the little rail piece out, set it aside so you don't lose it. Also take the jam door, set it aside. You don't even have to put this back if you want to top load mags, but I think it'll look better with it in. So I'll be putting mine back in. Alrighty, where to start? So we got to start by bypassing all the mechanical locks. And hold on, top-down view. This should probably be better. So let's start looking at what we don't need. So we need this. This is the thrower arm. When you pull this trigger back, well, when you pull this down and then pull this back, this little arm pushes darts into the flywheels. But let's start over here because this is the easy part. Okay, this screw in the middle holds on this black dart skirt. It's just a last measure resort to try and keep children from sticking their fingers in between the flywheels that are in this cage. And it is trash. We need to remove it. So first step to that is removing the flywheel cage. There's 4 screws on each side, those little silver ones right there. Remove those, pop the flywheel cage out. The flywheel cage is connected to the, well, the muzzle by this little tube, and this little tube is connected to it, so we're just going to lift that out as a whole. Get up. Get on up there. Okay, it looks like something that's different is we're going to have to unhook these wires. Unhook the wires from this tooth. There's too much tension on them. Okay, we'll try this the weird way. So this screw in the middle, just remove it. Should come right off. And hopefully this is what's holding it on. Looks like there's a little plastic bearing. Let's pull that off. This is where the pliers come in handy. Come on. There you go. That's dunk. Reach in between the soldered leads. Pull that up. Grab here. Right off. Nice. Now we could just leave it like that, but I think it's still secured to the other side. There we go. Let's remove that too. We should be able to wrench this up. Perfect. Okay. Nice. There's another screw on this side. Remove that and remove the black rubber thing. Alrighty. Now we just take it. We throw it back into position. Well, roughly. Get it sort of close. Throw the tube back in there. Difficult to do with one hand here. And then, there we go. Put those 4 screws back where you found them. You'll secure the flywheel cage, and that's it. Should be good for now. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to bypass the thermistor. Now, what the thermistor is, it's this little regulator tab right here, this weird looking yellow thing. Let's bend it up. There we go. This weird looking yellow egg thing that's attached to this circuit board. Now, we can't remove this circuit board because it feeds the wires through, and this is what monitors the voltage. The voltage is too high, you burn out the thermistor, and the circuit's gone. You can't use the blaster anymore. However, there's a pretty easy way to bypass this. You just grab your needle nose pliers, grab this guy, give him a twist. 1 or 2 good twists, just to get the leads to touch each other. Not enough that you break it, just enough that it's now touching. Can we see that? Sure we can. Okay, so yes. Twist the thermistor around. Make sure it's not putting pressure on the wire. There we go. So we're going to focus on this trigger mechanism assembly here next. And let's see. This screw can stay in. This one in the center. And this one down here on the trigger. Those 2 are coming out. So unscrew those 2 and lay this trigger assembly aside. So this is 2 pieces secured by this screw at the top, and then there's also a retention spring in the back. Make sure you keep that with the piece. It's going to make reassembly a lot easier. You can also pull out the trigger at this point. Just lift out. Nice. And we're going to be focusing on this module. Now this is the rev switch, obviously, but this little orange thing up here is something we don't need. This is a trigger lock so that you can't pull down the firing trigger until you're pulling down the rev trigger, and we don't need that. So undo this screw here. Right here. Get my massive hands in the frame. Okay. Set that aside. Pull this plate up. Aha. There we go. Okay. So this orange piece has a little spring underneath it. Focus. There we go. This orange piece has a little spring underneath it. We take that and the orange piece out. It is trash. But first we got to remove the reg trigger. Be careful with this spring. Just going to gently, oh, like a surgeon. There we go. And nice. Okay. This is trash, and it now goes in the trash pile with the rubber dart gate. I wonder where that bearing went earlier. Oh well, it's gone. Probably forever. Oh, it's underneath. Okay. Now, what we're also going to do while we're in here is this switch. No, actually, that's important. Never mind. We're not bypassing that. That's not a lock. Okay, put this thing back. Like that. There we go. I'll fix that later. Okay, moving on. This thing. This thing. This is, well, this is where the fun begins. Remove these two screws and take this white piece off. Alright, like I said, this is where things get a little bit tricky. Now, this big orange piece interfaces with this switch. What this does is it allows for a magazine lock, kind of. So this is an electronic lock in the way of a switch. If we can permanently close this switch, then we disable the magazine lock. What the magazine lock does is unless there is a magazine in the blaster and pushing this thing back up against this switch right here, then the blaster will not fire. That's what the switch is for. So what we're going to do is we're going to disable this lock and also pull this up. There's this little thingy with a springy in here. We'll just leave that in because it'll help with the mag. But we have to disable this electronic lock. And what we're going to do for this one is the exact same one that we're going to do for this, which is the jam door lock. So this prevents the blaster from being revved unless the jam door is closed and pushing in on that switch. So we're going to disable both of those electronic locks with electrical tape. What we're going to do, take a strip of this and cut it in half. There we go. 2 strips of standard width electrical tape. You just cut 1 strip in half. About that long should do it. Exact measurements are for guys who don't plan ahead. Anyway, so we're going to just gently remove this. And we're going to tape it shut like that. Super simple. Just wrap the piece of electrical tape around and then cram it back into where it's supposed to go. Get in there. Get in there. Meh. Perfect. That's not going anywhere. Nor will it be doing its job for quite a while. Okay, do the same with this one right here. Right, upon further inspection, this piece right here and the orange springy piece underneath it, those are garbage. Remove them. Just get them out. They have no place here. So you just want the little switch. All right. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. Take the white cover, put it back on this piece. Take the other white cover, put it back over the rev trigger, and we'll get that trigger assembly in. All right, there we go. All closed up. It looks so much cleaner this way. All the locks and stuff removed. Much better. Okay, this next step is completely optional, but what we're going to do now is... Okay, that's not the optional part. You obviously want the trigger in there. We're going to take the trigger. We're going to take this thrower arm. Drop it. Get in there. There we go. That's back in. And we're going to unscrew this screw, and we're going to lubricate all of it with Super Lube. This just makes it a little smoother, makes it a little cleaner, and will generally enhance performance overall. However, this is completely optional. You don't have to do this. I just do it because I think it helps. You especially want to get around the screw ports where the plastic comes into contact with other surfaces, and basically everywhere on this thing. Cool. Okay, trigger mechanism is lubed up. Throw it all back together, put all the screws back in, throw the jam door on, grab the second half of your shell, because you're done. Just clamshell that sucker back together. And attach all of the screws. And then put the battery door back on and we'll see if it still works. Just a quick little side note, I like to lay all my screws out in a line in the order I took them out. Starting from the top left corner of the blaster and working all the way around in a circle. It's a trick I learned from Adam Savage. He did Nerf blaster builds too. All the screws in the Desolator are the same size, and there are 18 of them in the main body. You're going to want to remember that in case you lose any. So all the screws are in. We're back together. And you can already tell that this trigger mechanism feels way better. Plus, I like the look of that window a lot more now that ugly black dart skirt's out of the way. Throw the batteries back in, battery tray back on, we'll be good to go. So everything we've just done to the Nerf Doomlands Desolator, it's okay, but it's really not going to boost your performance all that much. It's going to take a few snags out of it, make the trigger assembly move a lot smoother, but that's it. It's really not going to hit any harder. But we can make it hit harder without having to rewire the whole thing. And this is actually pretty cool. So normally what you do after you reassemble it, pop the battery door open, and you'd insert your good old alkaline AA batteries. And while we could, I'm not going to. Here's why. You remember when I said you could pick up a few things on outofdarts.com at the beginning of the video? Here's one of the things you can pick up. These are Night Core IMRs, AA size. You're looking for a 650 milliamp hour battery with 3.7 volts. These things are rechargeable AA size batteries, but they pack almost 3 times as much power as a AA. It's insane what these things can do. And they're rechargeable, so you can reuse them over and over again. No, if you buy these, you're going to need a charger of some kind like this to recharge them. That's just a given. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our Night Cores and we're going to throw 2 of them in the battery tray. I know what you're thinking. Yes, it can take 4, but 2's a really good boost over alkaline batteries. And 3, you start to burn the motors out. It's not good. You don't want to put too much voltage and power through the stock motors because you will destroy them. So always be careful. These are high-powered batteries. Make sure you read the instruction manual on how to properly use and charge these. And whatever you do, do not overdrain them. What that means is if you use them too much, they could explode when you try to recharge them. So please be careful. Because we're only putting 2 in, we're also going to need a couple of these. These are just cool look dummy batteries or spacer batteries. What they are is they're just a AA size cell that act as a conductive material between the actual IMRs and the charge ports. So they're just dummy cells. They don't do anything. They have no power. Alrighty, so we're just going to plug those in like so. Fun fact, the Desolator battery tray actually takes the IMRs a lot better than the Strifes does because the IMRs are slightly, like, by a millimeter longer than regular AA's. So, that's always a plus. We're going to throw that in there. Screw it in. And because we've disabled all the magazine locks, we'll be able to rev this up without a magazine, and you will be able to tell it screams a little louder than with AA's. Now that's how a flywheel blaster should sound. Should sound. You get what I mean. Let's go fire it. Alrighty, so we're going to start out with a stock Desolator that I just had lying around because of course I did. And this is our modified one over here marked with the blue rival flag. So let's start with a stock one. Yeah, not bad. Performance isn't too terrible. Alright, let's move on to our modified one here. See if we can slide it down. There we go. And that was aiming for the light switch. This hallway is about 20 feet away from where I'm standing. That is insane. Those groupings are really good. So yeah, that's firing it. Sweet. Let's go back to the table. Well, there you have it. A way to take your boring old Desolator and just quick and dirty chop it up. Take out all the locks and turn it into a pretty high-performance powerhouse. I mean, you saw those groupings. The thing is accurate, especially when you're using the best darts on the market, the Adventure Force Waffle Head, and This really makes a difference, especially in flywheel blasters. These things have pinpoint accuracy. I love it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm hoping to get a couple more videos out around the beginning of the year. Just, you know, to celebrate having 100 subscribers. It's reinvigorated me. Thank you guys so much for that again. It means a lot to me. Yeah, that's about it. Comment below if I should do this with any other magazine-fed semi-auto blasters. Looking at you, Rebel Rapid Red. And you, Demolisher. That'd be fun. Maybe. I'm going to have to get some paint on that one. Well, until next time, I'm Blue Wolf Nerf. I wear blue. I'm wearing blue jeans. Does that count? I didn't want to change my Phineas and Ferb shirt because it's awesome. Whatever. I wear blue. It's what I do. Nerf is my thing too. And I will see you in the next video. Ow. Maybe I should have thought that through.